this lecture, I would like to discuss the concept of values and start a conversation about Russian fundamental values. Values refer to what is desirable and worthy. Cultural values are widely shared abstract ideas about what is good, right, and desirable. They represent the goals that people are encouraged to pursue, and they serve to justify action taken in pursuit of these goals. Within every cultural group, there is a substantial variation in the value priorities of people. Stanjevsky and Goncharka argue that in contemporary Russia there are several sets of opposite or even conflicting values. They illustrate this statement by a study that investigated attitudes of Russian people toward the October Revolution. According to the Russian Public Opinion Research Center, 46% of the respondents believe that the October Revolution was in the best interest of the Russian society, while 46% are of the opposite opinion. There is a growing number of people sympathizing with Lenin and Stalin on the one hand, and on the other hand with Nicholas II, the last Russian emperor. Stanjevsky and Goncharka attribute this divergence of opinions to many factors. For example, they claim that many elderly people are nostalgic about life in the Soviet Union, which was much easier in many regards. And recently, many people have started to be interested in their family roots before the revolution, and they found out that their families suffered from its consequences. The official ideology tries to reconcile both the periods of pre-revolutionary Russia and the Bolshevik period. It claims that both of them are the historical heritage of present-day Russia. There are even attempts at rehabilitating Stalin. Still, younger generations see the Western model of development as obviously more successful than the Soviet Union model. It seems that attitudes toward the revolution, or the leader of the revolution Lenin and the last emperor Nicholas II, do not represent values. This is only a surface representation of fundamental values. The study represents people's attitudes towards particular historical figures and historical events. What inferences can we draw from this study? One way to interpret this study's findings is that the split in public opinions demonstrates a shift from collectivist to individualist values. Collectivist values emphasize groups, other people, and community, while individualism is based on concerns for one's immediate family as well as for independence, autonomy, and self-sufficiency. Those who value the USSR value community. The Russian collectivist value system is an enduring feature in Russian life. It predates communism, and in the post-communist era, it persists as a potent social force. Those who miss the Soviet Union emphasize good things that the Soviet Union provided: free education, housing, healthcare, paid vacations and maternity leave, guaranteed employment, and equal rights for all citizens. But more importantly, they emphasize collectivism and de-emphasize the existence of Gulag, the Great Purge, and violation of human rights. Younger generations prefer the Western model. This fondness indicates a decrease in the importance of community in Russia and growth of such values as independence, novelty, and achievements. According to Shorts, values are ordered by importance relative to one another. Do people attribute more importance to achievement or justice, to novelty or tradition? This hierarchical feature also distinguishes values from norms and attitudes. A Russian linguist and specialist in intercultural communication, Mira Bergelson, highlights the following values specific to Russian people. In her opinion, community is the most important basic value of Russian people. She considers this value as a unique and contradictory combination of suppression of the individual and considerable freedom of self-expression. She thinks that emotionality is the next most important value. For Bergelson, it doesn't mean laughing or breaking into tears. She states that emotionality emphasizes relations, which can be interpreted as a sincere expression of feelings and attitudes in relationships. She claims that for Russians, spiritual values are more important than material ones, and Russians value caution and extremes. Finally, Bergelson claims that Russian people expect and sometimes require from others some moral obligation of loyalty, respect, and sincerity. But this is Bergelson's view of fundamental Russian values. One may disagree with Bergelson's idea that Russians value caution and extremes. One argument that might be raised against this view is that these values contradict each other. Also, it seems that there are some more important values that stand at the top of the hierarchy of Russian values, and which is closely related to the value of the community. Russians place a high value on the homeland and national interests. In 1939, the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill said, "I cannot forecast to you the action of Russia. It is a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. But perhaps there is a key. The key is Russian national interest." Some Russians claim that their homeland, Russia, is their main value. In fact, patriotism is such an important idea in the Russian value system that Russians even have 3 words: Родина, Отечество, and Отчизна, that to describe the motherland or fatherland, each with its own emotional resonance for Russian speakers. My colleague Donald Gislason observed that the value of one's homeland is important for other nationalities. For example, a love of Canada is definitely present in Canadians, especially when Canadians talk about medical care and peacekeeping, as well as other ways in which Canada distinguishes itself on the world stage. But, unlike Russians and, for example, Americans, Canadians are shy to express patriotism. Since medieval times, personification of Russia are traditionally feminine and maternal. Most common terms for Russia are Mother Russia, Россия Матушка, and Mother Homeland, Родина Мать. The Motherland Calls is a statue in Volgograd designed by Evgeny Vuchetich. It is a memorial that honors thousands of people who fought and died in the Battle of Stalingrad. 200 steps, symbolizing the 200 days of the battle, lead to the monument. The Motherland Calls is also a symbol of national power. Female figure has a height of 85 meters, and it is both majestic and triumphant. It seems to confront traditional conceptions of femininity as portrayed in sculpture and painting. In contemporary Russia, the state actively promotes patriotism, often as a tool to gain support for the idea of a strong state and of great power. The government of Russia adopted a program called the Patriotic Education of Citizens of the Russian Federation. In this document, the government emphasized its focus on the formation of, and I quote here, socially significant values such as sense of loyalty towards one's fatherland, readiness to carry out civic duty, and constitutional obligations to protect the interests of the homeland. In conclusion, I would like to say that I believe that comparing and contrasting are important components of analysis. Therefore, I suggest that you think about your personal values. How do your values differ from the basic Russian values as identified by Mira Berhelsen? Do you endorse collectivistic or individualistic values? Here are a few sources on cultural values that I use in this lecture and that you may find interesting for your research. See you at my next lecture devoted to the concept of culture.